Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Phantom Knight deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely powerful deck that can make some absolutely incredible fields. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Torn Scales. Torn Scales is one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck, because this card has the ability you can discard a card to send a Phantom Knight's card from your deck to the graveyard, except another copy of this card. And if another Phantom Knight card is in your graveyard is banished while this card's in the graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field, which is an insane ability just to bring this card back to your side of the field so you can extend your plays. We then play 3 copies of Silent Boots. Silent Boots is definitely a 3-of extender in the deck and has a crazy powerful ability. And if you control the Phantom Knight monster, you can actually special summon this card from your hand. Also, you can banish this card from the graveyard to add a Phantom Knight spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is an amazing ability to search out cards like Fog Blade or Phantom Knight Wing directly from your deck to your hand off this card's effect. We then play 2 copies of the Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. Ancient Cloak is really good as a 2-of in the build because this card has a great effect that you can banish this card from the graveyard to add the Phantom Knight card from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. The key thing about this card is it has to have the Phantom Knight in its name. It has to have the in the name to be able to search it, which is something very important about this card's effect. We then play a single copy of the Phantom Knights of Ragged Gloves. Ragged Gloves is basically a foolish burial because you can actually banish this card from the graveyard to send a Phantom Knights card from your deck to the graveyard, and also a Dark XZ monster that was summoned using this card as a material from the field gains 1,000 attack points, which is a pretty cool effect just to boost up one of your monster's attack. We then play a single copy of Stained Greaves. Stained Greaves is really cool as a 1-of in the build, but you only need a single copy of this card in the deck. It does help you level modulate, which is really nice, but it's a great 1-of in the build. We then play 3 copies of Terror Top. Terror Top is amazing in this build as a level 3 extender because if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. And when this card is normal or special summon, you get to add a Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand, which is instantly going to grab our copy of our Tekatomborg from our deck to our hand, so we can special summon it to our side of the field and go in for a rank 3 or a link play, which is amazing to be able to do because you don't even use your normal summon with this combo. We then play a single copy of Graf Malebranche of the Burning Abyss. I really like playing Graf in the deck because if you send this card to the graveyard, it actually lets you special summon a Burning Abyss monster from your deck, which is really good for the Cherubini combos in the deck because Cherubini can send this card to the graveyard and then bring out a copy of Seer using your copy of Cherubini, which is really good to instantly bring out your copy of Seer using your copy of Graf with Cherubini on the field because it won't be destroyed because of Cherubini's ability, and then you can link climb with them, which is amazing to be able to do. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you actually get to target a Burning Abyss monster in your graveyard, except a copy of Seer and special summon it, which can actually be Cherubini that you bring back to your side of the field, which is absolutely insane to help you link climb into other link monsters, which is really cool. I really like these cards in the deck. They're a little bit of bricks in your hand, but they work really well with the Cherubini line in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Water Enchantress of the Temple. Water Enchantress is definitely a 3-of for the adventure package in the deck. This card helps you get to Rite of Arameser, which is so important for the build. We then play a single copy of Wandering Griffin Rider. Wandering Griffin Rider is really good as a 1-of the deck to be able to use this card as a walking negate, and it's so easy to put on your side of the field with your adventure package. We then play 3 copies of Imseti. Imseti is amazing in the build for the Horus pack in the deck to help you get cards into the graveyard. As this card has the ability, if King Sarcophagus is on your side of the field, you can special summon this card from the graveyard, and also send this card and another card from your hand to the graveyard to instantly add a copy of King Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand, and then draw a card, which is such a cool ability to be able to use to help us get our Phantom Knight monsters into the graveyard so we can basically use their effects. We then play a single copy of Happy. Happy is basically just an additional name so we can go in for our rank 8 plays using Happy and Imseti, like our copy of our Zombie Vampire, which is so cool because it can help us get our copies of our Phantom Knights into the graveyard, which is very important for the deck. It can even help you get cards like Water Enchanters into the graveyard, which is really nice because then you can step into your copy of your Adventure package, which is insane. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is very important for the deck because it basically just stops your opponent from touching the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Rhoda. Rhoda is very important in the deck as a one-of because we play so many different warriors in the form of our Phantom Knight monsters, so we can actually search them with Rhoda. We then play a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is very important in the deck as well, so we can get the exact monster we want in the graveyard when we need it. We then play a single copy of Fateful Adventure. Fateful Adventure is very important in the deck, but you only want to play a single copy of this card because you want to be able to put it on your side of the field with your copy of Rite of Arameser, so we can get into our Adventure package. We then play a single copy of Dracoback. Dracoback is amazing in the deck. This card actually is a bounce that we can easily equip using our copy of Fateful Adventure's effect to our Adventure token, which is really cool. We then play 2 copies of Rite of Arameser. Rite of Arameser is great in the deck. This card helps us get to our copy of Fateful Adventure and gives us an Adventure token on our side of the field, which is absolutely insane. And it's a really cool card in this deck, but it has a little bit of a downside that you cannot activate the effects of monsters on the field the turn you activate this effect, except those of special summon monsters, which is totally fine because this deck usually doesn't activate the effects of normal summon monsters anyways, so you can only activate the effects of special summon monsters. We then play 3 copies of King Sarcophagus. King Sarcophagus is amazing because it helps you get cards from your hand to the graveyard while also accessing the rest of your Horus cards, which is amazing. And it's such a powerful engine to be able to play in this deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Full Armored XZ. Full Armored XZ is definitely a one-of in the build to be able to step into our Armored XZ package, and it's such a powerful card to help us step into our copy of Full Armored Dark Knight Lancer, which is such a powerful boss monster to be able to make in this deck. We'll make a single copy of Shade Brigandine. Shade Brigandine is really good to summon as a trap monster to your side of the field. You can special summon this card in defense position as a normal monster that's a warrior type, dark, level 4, 0 attack, and 300 defense. And this card is not treated as a trap card. If you have no trap cards in your graveyard, you can actually activate this card the turn it was set, which is an insane ability to help us summon out other monsters to our side of the field. We then play a single copy of Phantom Knight's Wing. Wing is really cool as a one-of in the deck, but I really like this card just as a one-of in the build. It lets you target a face-up monster on the field against 500 attack, and also the first time the targeted monster would be destroyed by battle by card effect, this turn it is not destroyed, and you can manage to discard from the graveyard, and then target the Phantom Knight monster in the graveyard and special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field, which is a great effect to use this card as a monster reborn from the graveyard. We then play 3 copies of Fogblade. Fogblade is such a powerful card that functions basically like Fiendish Chain, which is so cool about this card. It's actually one of my favorite traps in the entire game, because this card has healed you activate this card by targeting an effect monster on the field, negate that monster's effect, and that face-up monster cannot attack, and also other monsters cannot target that monster or attacks, but when when that monster leaves the field, destroy this card. And also banish this card in the graveyard to be able to target a Phantom Knight monster in the grave and special summon it, but banish when it leaves the field, basically working like a copy of Monster Reborn, which is so cool about this card. And this card is a negate, and it's also basically a Monster Reborn, which is so cool. This card is actually one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck, and you want to be able to set multiple of this per turn, which is just so cool to be able to use. Just instantly set this card to be able to have multiple negates, which is so cool. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Breaksword. Breaksword is definitely a 2-of-them build to help you pop cards on the field, but also to help you bring back your Phantom Knights from the graveyard as level 4s, which is so powerful to be able to do in the deck, so we can step into cards like Raider's Knight. We then play a single copy of the Levenair, the Sea Dragon. This card actually brings back our banished monsters, which is really nice to be able to do, especially since our Phantom Knight monsters banish themselves, so this card just helps us bring back our monsters to our side of the field. We play a single copy of Raider's Knight. Raiders Knight is great to help us OTK because this card helps us summon out our copy of Arc Rebellion XZ Dragon, which this card is such a powerful card to be able to make in this build. It's really cool to be able to make overall in the deck because this card is a great effect. And if this card has a Dark XZ monster as a material, you negate the effects of all their face-up monsters on the field. Add this effect resolves, and also it gains the attack of every single monster on the field, which is such a powerful effect. Then I steal a copy of XZ Armor Torpedo. Torpedo is great because this card lets us draw a card by detaching its materials, which is so cool. Then we can step into a copy of Fortress, which Fortress will then help us search out our trap card, the Armored XZ trap card, which is so cool to be able to do. And then we can step in using the trap card into Full Armored Dark Knight Lancer, which is such a powerful card to be able to make on our side of the field. You can basically equip other cards to it, which is insane. It gets absolutely massive, and it's just a really good boss monster to make in this deck. Then buy a steel copy of number 90, because this card is actually a monster negate. One copy of the Zombie Vampire, because this card mills the top 4 cards of both players' decks to the graveyard, and then lets us special summon a monster among those total of 8 cards that we send to the graveyard, which is so cool, but it's amazing just to help us send cards from the top of our deck to the graveyard, so we can basically get our Phantom Knights into the grave. We then made a steel copy of Typhon. Typhon's just a really good option just about every single deck. One copy of Zeus. Zeus is really good because we play so many different XZs in this deck. Play a steel copy of Rusty Bardiche. Rusty Bardiche is such a powerful card in the deck, as this card helps us set our Phantom Knight spells and traps, helps us Foolish Burial the Phantom Knight every turn, which is insane, and it's just such a powerful card to be able to make in this deck because its main effect is that during your main phase, you can send the Phantom Knight monster from your deck to the graveyard to set a Phantom Knight spell or trap from your deck to your spell and trap card zone. So you basically send something like a copy of the Boots to the graveyard, and then once you send Boots, you can actually set Fogblade, and then you can banish Boots to set a second copy of Fogblade, essentially turning this card into a double negate, which is so insane. With my single copy of Cherubini. Cherubini is really good because this card is basically a walking Foolish Burial for your level 3 monsters. We'll use it with the Burning Abyss package to send your copy of Graph to the graveyard so you can summon Seer, and then you link away Cherubini and Seer to be able to make your copy of Seer to be able to make your copy of your Phantom Knight Link monster, and then bring back with Seer's effect your copy of Cherubini to your side of the field so you can link your copy of Cherubini plus another monster way for your copy of SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight is the only other Link monster I play in the deck because it's so easy to make with the Burning Abyss package, because you can basically do that combo, bring back Cherubini, and it's a Link monster on your side of the field, so you can use any other monster plus Cherubini to be able to make a copy of SP Little Knight, which is a double interruption, and since you used a monster that was special from the extract originally, it just makes it so easy to be able to make this card on your side of the field and get both of its effects. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is so fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Phantom Knight deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's such a fun deck. You can include so many cool engines in this deck, and it's such a creative deck to be able to play because there's so many cool ways to be able to play it, and I absolutely love this build. So that's going to be this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.